April 2024. And this morning we've been joined by a public affairs analyst, Arinze Anebunam. It's good to have you in the studio.
It's a pleasure being here once again. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, let's begin with taking a look at what we have today. We have a lot of papers, our national dailies to look at. We begin with the Vanguard newspaper. Let's see stories making their headlines in front of the Vanguard newspaper. Tariff hike, 20 hours supply for Band A customers under threat. 20 hours supply for Band A customers under threat. We have riders there as power allocation hovers at 3,236 megawatts. Port Harcourt Disco apologizes for shortfall. Kaduna Disco sets up response teams. No transparency, fairness in billing, CPPE. Firms will pay for the services they don't enjoy. LCCI. Expert expects improvement in supply. Okay, Edo Guba, my impeachment won't stand. That's coming from Shaibu. Alleged defamation. Better Edo threatens to sue BBC. No cause for alarm on next Olubado. Makinde speaking. We also have other stories from Idel prayers in Sokoto. The picture was down there. The other one, Idel prayers in Lagos with a president in attendance. Wardron wants Nigeria over Olympic preparations. And Fair Court, Air Peace Chair, Onyema slams foreign airlines over conspiracy. Idel Fitri, our security improving, federal government declares. Inquiry, Okwama community shuns military panel. Okoloba in attendance. Now, transfer of pension money out of Nigeria escalates. Okay. A PDP NEC meeting, governors others renew battle for parties' soul. I don't know, this airpiece issue, it's been everywhere. In fact, I decided to talk about it because I've seen the stories making the rounds. And of course, some people coming out to defend airpeace, some people coming out to speak in favor of airpeace, that people should not abandon him. Now, the man is coming out to say that there's a conspiracy somewhere.
From foreign bodies. You know, fact is, I read something yesterday online, and you are left to wonder why the sudden, should I say, declination in flight prices and all of that. Because as a matter of fact, if there is no competition in businesses, monopoly will thrive. I want to believe that airpeace coming to London actually unmasked certain things that the foreign airlines are actually doing.
So it's even possible, it was possible to collect lower fare.
Definitely.
And they've been ripping us off.
As a matter of fact, presently, airpeace seems to be the costliest by virtue of most of those airlines. Yes, they are now bringing down their prices. So.
Okay, somebody was actually analyzing yesterday, and the person had to go back to the era when we had just MTN network, you know, and where some people bought line as high as 30,000 naira. 60,000 naira for a SIM card that later sold for 1,000 naira. And it begins
at some point, they even get for free.
For free, right?
Yes, they get for free. So it's the health of every business is competition.
Okay, let's see. I don't know. Okay, look at the banner headline in front of the Vanguard newspaper. Tariff hike, 20 hours supply for Band A customers under threat. They've not started. They are just starting, and we've started hearing stories. What actually is happening to us?
You know, well, one of the issues we have as a country is preparedness. Most times we launch into things, into what do I call it now, that we are not ready for. Because if you take a look at, if you take a critical evaluation of what we experience with power now, you will see that our power holding company, we are not yet ready. We are not. And
you know, somebody, we talked about, we did this as a program yesterday, this electricity, and somebody was actually trying to compare what is happening here with what is obtainable in developed countries of the world. And the guy was like, they should have improved power supply before increment. That if they improve on power supply, maybe Nigerians will have power 24 hours a day. That he doesn't think anybody will complain.
To improve on power supply,
when
first
they
we should be sure that we are generating enough power to supply.
When we are we not supplying other nations?
Ideally.
Are we not supplying other nations?
It beats my imagination. You know, Nigeria, when you come very analytical on some of the practices that are prevalent in this nation, you just have no option but to be in awe of what is really happening. You get, because as a matter of fact, I am aware that most of the countries that we supply power to, they enjoy power better than we do. So it becomes unfortunate that the source is suffering, while the beneficiaries are possibly enjoying better than the source. It's I don't know what to make out of it, sincerely.
All right, let's move on now to the Daily Times newspaper. The Daily Times. Tinubu to Nigerians: remain patriotic, love, defend Nigeria's integrity, says renewed hope agenda being diligently implemented. Okay, Okwama killings, military board of inquiry commences sitting in Warri. Kaduna huge debts, PDP calls for probe of ex-governor El Rufai. Salah Sultan urges Muslims to seek knowledge, pray for leaders. Then Kogi bandit attack, we've arrested some suspects. Eid al-Fitri, ACF expresses worry over deteriorating standard of living. And there will be no room for criminal-minded travelers, NISCG speaking. All right, I don't know if we're going to explore the message of a president to Nigerians as they celebrate Eid al-Fitr.
It's fact is the context of the message is laudable, but in my usual step, I would always say, let's also narrow it down. Let's for anything to be good, it must start from the foundations. When we talk about patriotism, when we talk about the defense of Nigeria's integrity, when we talk about loving the nation, let those in the corridors of power, even from the federal might, should also be a part of that patriotism and sincere love and defense for Nigeria's integrity. Because as a matter of fact, those of us at the lower class may not have sufficient influence in respect to Nigeria's integrity. People outside this nation, people from the Western world, developed countries, they see the politicians in order to determine or define the strength of our integrity. Last week, a foreigner came to here. I had a job somewhere, and when he came, he saw the massiveness of the edifice. First thing he asked was, is this a hotel? I said no. He said that he went to somebody I also knows place and asked the guy, are you a politician? In their mind, it's only politicians by virtue of embezzlement that can put up that edifice. So you see, there is people outside of this nation determine what we can actually do by virtue of what they know our politicians for. So integrity, patriotism, love should start from those in the corridors of power.
Those that preach it. All right, let's see. The picture in front of that Daily Times is a very pathetic one. That was an accident, and according to the report, 2 persons, fell inside the Lagos Lagoon as a result of that accident. I don't know whether, what became of them eventually, whether they were rescued alive or dead, but we pray that God take charge of the situation. All right, quickly, let's see the next paper for review, the Daily Independent newspaper. Let's see stories making their headlines in front of the Daily Independent. 11 years after automotive policy, vehicle assembly plants in ruins despite 500 billion naira investment. Other stories, okay, we have riders there. Operating environments, forex shortage, importers gang up, hot sector Assembly's capacity drops from 500,000 units to 50,000 annually. Very pathetic. Eid al-Fitr, rededicate yourselves to nation building. Tinubu urges Nigerians. Okay, other stories. Court fixes April 17 for Ganduje wife's son's arraignment. PDP reps caucus disowns opposition lawmakers, asking acting party chairman to resign. Mysterious illness claims 4 lives in Sokoto. NCDC investigates. Fire resists 4 buildings on Lagos Island. 200 shops in Cross River Market. Benue ranks first in reported cases of TB, that's tuberculosis, in North Central, 6th in Nigeria. Rivers will be known for peace, not crisis, Fubara insists. Army committed to the fate of insurgents, other threats against Nigeria, Chief of Army Staff speaking. Full year 2023, UBA gross earnings rise by 143%. Okay, your profit hits 757.7 billion. Okay, a lot of stories in front of that paper, but I think I'm really touched by the banner headline there. 11 years after automotive policy. I don't know, when there are some stories you listen to or you read about our nation, you begin to ask yourself, are these people human beings? You know, not that nothing is being done. They invested a lot of money, and they preach to us, just like what you are saying now. They preach to us to do this, to do that, but they don't do it themselves. Now you release 500 billion naira, you know, for they invested in assembly plants, and up till now they are still in ruins. You know, operating environment, forest. Look at the excuses.
You know, the truth of the matter is there is so much sabotage in the system, so much that I may not be in the class of those who have the authority and audacity to actually proclaim certain things. But as much as I'm privileged to be here, we'll just keep lending our voices to see how much we can effect the needed change, sufficient enough to upscale the image of the nation. Talking about the vehicle assembly and all of that, somewhere down, you see where it's also captured the statement of the presidency. Rededicate yourselves to nation building, Tinubu urges Nigerians. And on the reverse, I want to ask, the pleas, the urge of Nigerians to the presidency and those in power, how many have they adhered to? Because it should even be the led, the masses, complaining the much. It's unfortunate, I must tell you, and the summary of the whole thing is the fact that there is heavy sabotage in the system. They make this investment, they tell you they are doing it to cushion effects, they say they are doing it to possibly upscale productivity in a certain sector. They still go behind because of selfish interest.
You can imagine the effect. The assembly capacity dropping from 500,000 to 50,000.
So 450,000 lost.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's nearly 100%.
All right, let's move on. Still on the Daily Independent. I don't know other stories we can look at there. Okay.
I like the River State issue.
Okay. And, let's take a look at that then.
I just want to make a quick jump on it.
Fubara is very, very highly optimistic about the situation.
Does it end with optimism? Optimism without, how do I put that now?
That's how you...
Commensurate job, work. It amounts to nothing. As I've lived in River State for around, I was there rather for around 17, 18 years, not as a child. You see, I begin to wonder, all the time that I've been there, once we get to the electioneering period, be certain that, so I don't know what portal to call it, there will always be these fierce issues that will lead to bloodshed or whatever. Unfortunately, these elephants that may be involved in this fiasco, they don't suffer much until our people begin to be very intentional about their interest, about the people. Something happened in, that should be Wigwesbera, if I'm still correct, where Fubara said something.
Yeah.
And somebody, they turned it to a political whatever.
All right, I saw that.
I'm
I
telling
saw
you,
that
and
actually.
imagine the shamelessness. Imagine the, I don't care. Imagine the carefree attitude that they put out
But
there.
even the person that came up to say what he said, you should know the kind of person he is. So that's
In his person and status, should he be that kind of person?
but that is what it is. That is what it is. Because before they put him there, they knew who he actually was. Let's move on. The Nation newspaper is next in our lineup. Let's see. Eid al-Fitr Day tragedies. Lagos monarch, ex-Kogi governor's son, die after prayer. Two flung into lagoon in third mainland bridge crash. 3 die in Lagos-Ibadan highway accident. What a pity. Makinde cautions against disunity over Olubadan's stool. Military begins probe of Okwama killings in Warri. Other stories are diesel price cut driving down inflation, says Dangote. Have they started distribution?
I'm just surprised.
Entrepreneurs should work with the government, Abiodo economy on recovery path. Okay? Believe in our government, Tinubu urges Nigerians. President, Vice President, Sultan, others observe Eid prayers. We can see the pictures in front of the papers. And I pray that after all this observation of prayers, it should be put to work. Amotekun arrests 45 suspects for alleged kidnapping others in Ondo. You can see that in page 27 of the Nation newspaper. Diesel price cut driving down inflation, says Dangote. Okay, can we look at that? Do you know anything about that, whether they've started distribution?
Interestingly, or I don't know if I should say funny enough, I'm surprised reading it. Because if...
We've never heard of the
sincerely, for me, from my end, yes. And okay. I don't know how much it's cutting down inflation. Permit me to say something on...
when fuel added price yesterday, did we notice? Yes.
Did it drop?
Well,
it's been fluctuating.
It added price yesterday. I was surprised when I went to buy fuel for my generator yesterday evening. They told me 715 naira. What I bought 700 naira.
Last week I bought 700. I think on April 3rd or so. Okay. On April 4th I bought 710.
Okay, I bought yesterday 715.
And they are talking of cutting down inflation and all of that.
Okay.
This tragedy of a thing, I don't know. You know, on Sunday, this past Sunday, permit me to just actually say that in Anambra here, just by or something, an accident happened.
Okay.
You get that claimed their life, and 2 many other persons are actually in Anambra State Hospital now. And taking a look at these reports, I'm left to wonder. One, is it the recklessness of the commuters, the drivers? Is it as a result of the poor state of our roads? What could actually be the cause of these accidents, these road mishaps and all of that? And it may become important to begin to plead to the necessary bodies, even the police, the civil defense, the road safety and all of that, to put up measures to mitigate all of this mishap, because it's like, was it yesterday? We started hearing the issue of one of the Nollywood actors. Though there has been some kind of dicey report. Some said they were in a speedboat or stuff, whether they capsized and all of that. But my interest was a post that was captured where he said, what we go through to entertain you. They were in a speedboat without life jackets. And you can't just imagine somebody who doesn't know how to swim, somebody who doesn't have anything to do with water and all of that, and you are...
You should have seen other reports, regarding what actually happened yesterday. When somebody talked about the carelessness of Nigerians to issues of safety.
Definitely.
Sometimes when you go to developed countries, there are signs you see. You can come into a building and you begin to see exit here, and there could be up to 20. Yeah. And someone may be wondering, why 20? But here, you may see bigger buildings. You will never even see emergency exit like 3, yeah. Then this issue of life jacket and all whatnot, so many safety measures that we are supposed to be putting in place in case of emergency. For instance, someone that drives vehicle, you know, you enter your car, the first thing you're supposed to do is, you know, to put
A
seat
seatbelt,
belts
yeah.
and so many other things.
Check your
You know,
system, your
it
brakes,
could be,
anything.
you know, this could be an eye-opener, if you ask me. It could be an eye-opener.
If it becomes, because things have been happening before now, has it ever turned to an eye-opener? If it becomes, because we need to actually sit up. Too many times I just see it, even as a young man, and I get scared.
There was something that happened in this state that I will never forget in a hurry. You know, when this Omunya Road Express was bad, was terribly bad. So there was a tanker that fell there, and they had to block one part of the side of the road. So all these, I don't know if it's political people, they were with siren, blah, blah, blah. And they came to remove that stick, and the motor had to pass through there. So trust Nigerians, other vehicles had to follow them. So in the course of following them, one vehicle had to touch the mouth of that tanker that fell, and the fire sparked, and the whole place. So many people were burnt. This happened so many years ago, you know, and there was a report of somebody that just got married with the wife inside the vehicle, yes, being a victim. Now, a similar thing happened to me when I traveled out, and I was, I picked a taxi. The taxi followed a different road, and I was asking where, because I don't know the road. He now told me that there was an accident on the regular road we used, so the road was closed completely. Have you seen what safety can do? It was closed completely. But this one was not closed completely. They just blocked
even
one part.
that,
and it
because
was closed
somebody
from a
had
very
power.
far, it was closed from a very far distance, so you cannot even get to the point of that accident before diverting.
So much has actually gone down the drain in our system that we need to be intentional about
Safety.
correcting them. Yes, and somebody said pray. We need to be praying, but we must be deliberate about what we do. I tell you, that's the only way to get the things right again in this country.
All right, the Punch newspaper is next. Let's see stories making the headlines in front of the Punch. Eid al-Fitr, defend Nigeria, support leaders. Tinubu Buhari urge citizens. Let's protect Nigeria's integrity. Tinubu appeals to Nigerians. Support for leaders. A vote for better tomorrow, says Buhari. Okay. The pictures are, you know, all those at the prayer ground for the celebration of Eid al-Fitr. Now, NAFDAC orders recall of toxic cough syrup. Ondo Amoteko nabbed 14 suspected kidnappers, 31 others. Olubado designates health. Ladoja faults Otun Balogo. Makinde says no crisis. Cash crunch hits CBC state offices. Assets verification face hurdles. Electricity tariff, 5G plans 1.5 trillion naira savings. 2.5 million meter installations. Fresh borrowings may push Nigeria's debt to 111 trillion naira. Okay, I don't know which of the stories you will look at before we move on.
You know, you actually need to be audacious. You actually need to have a very strong mind to continue taking a look at some of the issues coming up in this country. We talk about the debt and all of that, and as a matter of fact, I have not seen anybody who is actually so much concerned about the people, because they just this debt, the problem does not solely lie on the debt. The problem lies on when these monies are borrowed, what do we channel it to? Like one of the presidential candidates then would usually say, by the time we move from consumption to production, we may begin to mitigate issues and factors that lead us to this borrowing. But when we borrow to consume on ourselves, when we borrow to satisfy our selfish pleasures, when we borrow to actually favor a system, policy or polity that does not bring back to the system, we see that we have to keep borrowing to sustain. And unfortunately, that's what has been happening. We talked about the past administration, debt. This one came in. Many persons were hopeful that it will actually cease or go to the barest minimum. But we see that it's actually they're amplifying the debt thing and is washing us further down. It's heartbreaking, I tell you.
All right, Daily Trust newspaper is next in our lineup. Let's see stories making their headlines. CBN sacks 50 more staff. We tried as there 117 gone in 20 days. Staff accused management of illegality, double standard, external vendors affected. Cracks widen in PDP as North Central insists on chairmanship. Controversy over price war on London route. Israel bombs Gaza on Salah Day despite U.S. rebuke. Okay, other stories. Salah seek knowledge, pray for leaders, Sultan tells Muslims. And down there we have other stories. Passengers missing as bus plunges into Lagos Lagoon. Worshipper gunned down at Zamfara Eid ground. Customs import duty rate falls to 1,238 per dollar. All right, that's the much you have in front of the Daily Trust newspaper. Which one are we going to talk politics?
CBN sacks 50 more staff.
Okay.
Emphasis on the adjective more.
Okay.
So it
That
means
they sacked before.
many before. And so the more we get to take people off their jobs, and with the way economy is now, what becomes the hope of the people? And I tell you, when too many persons become jobless, be rest assured that crime will be on the increase.
And to talk about sack, there's a difference between sack and retiring the person.
Yeah.
When you retire somebody, you pay the person all benefits. He can use the payment to go into other ventures that could help him or her.
And sack is a heavy word. It means, sack actually means, by my definition, it could be impromptu. It means a sudden cutoff. When you want to sack somebody, don't give them time. Somebody can come to work today and you are like, just to show the person his or her sack letter, and that's it. And the person so from here
and no benefits?
to here, no benefits. So when you are sacked,
all the years the person has worked for. Okay.
It's a very pathetic one.
I just hope they know what they are doing, because at the end of the day, let's move on now. On the Nigerian Tribune, that's the last paper we are looking at, but not the least. CBN intensifies Naira defense. Foreign reserves deplete by $595 million in 1 month. Nigeria ship owners miss out as vessels lift products from $19.5 billion Dangote refinery. 10 years after, 91 Chibok girls' parents write Tinubu's wife. 10 years after, 91 Chibok girls' parents write Tinubu's wife. Okay. And Otun Balogun not qualified to determine medical fitness of Olaku Elebin, Ladoja speaking. We also see other stories in front of the Nigerian Tribune. Other stories there. Osolo of Isolo dies after 8 prayers. Sonwo-Olu mourns. Ex-Kogi Governor Idris' son dies after prayers too. Oyebanje appoints fresh 115 aides 4 months after appointing 162. Third mainland bridge bus accident throws 2 persons into lagoon. Ondo Amoteco arrests 14 suspected kidnappers, 31 other criminals. Okay, and we can see, I think that's the Pa Adebanjo there being celebrated. I think yesterday was his birthday, 96th birthday, and we are like, and he was so strong. The way he was speaking last year during the presidential campaign and all whatnot, that very strong, his speeches, yes, 96th year. That was what is celebrated. The picture is the one down there in the Nigerian Tribune.
He takes care of himself very well, because that's
really,
one
it's grace.
Grace definitely, yes, but
grace.
people take care of their health.
Really?
Yes. I was telling...
Remember, it's not of him that wills, so not him that
There are certain
runs.
things you do.
Yeah, that helps.
That helps.
Okay.
A man that is in the 70s, this Dorma, this sewing machine, he handles it. And I called him and said, sir, are you aware that the vibrations of this machine can actually, is weakening your arteries and veins? You may be strong. Now, it will get to a certain point, Parkinson's syndrome will set in because your muscles can no longer carry you. So these are things people do. You intentionally avoid certain things, what you eat. Grace is there, definitely. What you eat, how much you exercise, and all of that, and how you eat what you eat. They're all part of it.
Okay, now I think the picture is becoming clearer with Dangote Refinery. The other paper reported how their gas lifting is reducing inflation and all whatnot. So now Nigeria ship owners, miss out. That's the report here, as vessels lift products from 19.5 billion naira Dangote Refinery. Does it mean there was no Nigerian ship was involved? I don't know this. Let's talk about it.
How do I put this now? The jump I will make on it is the fact that I've said it before. There is heavy sabotage in our system.
Nigerian ship owners miss out. So which people lifted the gas or the...
There is heavy sabotage, and we are on air. There are certain things I cannot say here.
Okay.
So much sabotage, so much favoritism, so much downplaying, so much, anything you can call it, in the system.
All right. Now, 10 years after, 91 Chibok girls' parents write Tinubu's wife. I don't know. Our own Obi Ezekwesili was amongst the people championing the release of these Chibok girls. And over the years now, we've not been hearing much about these Chibok girls. Now the parents are coming. That means some of them are still there.
Definitely. But sometimes I wonder the reality of this incident. Because initially it was said to be politically inclined, to have some political undertones. And judging by this number of years, what should have become of the girls still in captive? One is the psychological damage that would have come on them.
They must have gotten used to it. 10 years is not 10 days now. A child of 10 years should be in primary school now.
If you get those girls out, I can assure you that one major and fundamental thing to do on them now is rehabilitation.
If rehabilitation will actually work. 10 years. And how old were they when they were taking these are the things you check. Now, Nigerians or some of us in Nigeria have been following the footsteps of a former Anambra State governor in shouting cut cost of governance so that things may get better in the nation. But look at here, Oyebanji appointing fresh 115 aides 4 months after appointing 162. And I wonder maybe, could it be these people sacked by CBN that is appointing, or people that already have job that is appointing? I wonder what is going on.
I told somebody something some time ago. I said, many of our politicians, and when I say politicians, I mean those in the seat of power, the governors and the president, they see the use of public funds as a means, a system, and avenue to actually favor whoever they want to favor. 162, 115, what exactly is their job description? What will they be doing? It's just a way of trying to have means to siphon and embezzle funds.
And I think the questions you're asking are the perfect question to ask, but we can't go on and on, but because our time is fast spent here on the press review. Would like to thank you so much, Arinze and Ebunam, for being here this morning. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right, Nigerian issue, we keep reviewing every day until tomorrow. My name is Nonya Nwokoye. We have more things coming up on Good Morning Anambra Show. Do stay.
This program we're going to do now, we are going to be working on prostate. We have the prostate cancer. Also, we're going to work on our abdominal too. So, also strengthen the core. That's what I mean. Okay, I said this program we're going to do now is going to be a program that helps in prostate cancer for men. Wherever you are, you can do this from your comfort of your home. So we're also working on our app too. So just watch how it goes. Let's go with the math. 1, 2, ready, up, 6, down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next it. Are you ready? We go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Drop. Upward. Let's go. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Down. The last among the list. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Down. You did well.
On assumption of office, Mr. Governor Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo declared a state of emergency on roads in Anambra State. He has since turned the entire state into a construction site. Within 10 months in office, over 270 kilometers of road have been flagged off and contractors paid 30 to 50% upfront. More roads are also being constructed and they will be done with tax money. Please join hands with Mr. Governor to give us more smooth, slicky roads in Anambra State. Remember, better soup na money killer. Nnukwu ano kpata nnukwu nkwụ, obele ano akpata obele nkwụ. Please pay your tax as at when due. Maka Odimma, Anambra State. This message is from Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS.
Why junction drop?
Enter 2000.
Hey, wahala. Keke, I don't see where you carry me go London or now. Why junction here?
2000 naira because this is where I get my tax money from.
I don't. Who don't be taxed? Who they pay tax?
I used to pay state government tax every month.
Hey.
You know they pay tax.
Wetin be tax, abeg?
Well, I used to pay state government tax every month. This money they pay me now, I used to come out. I will come out my tax money from because that tax what we they pay and that money government they use. They develop our state so that our state will be like another state. I enter 15, let's go. Because the government has reduced our money to 10,000 naira. Let's go. 15.
Now wow.
May you try to pay your tax. So.
My people, una don hear am now. Na today I dey hear this one. Me, I get boutique where I dey sell something. He said when you pay your tax, the government will beautify our state and the roads and infrastructural development will come into our state. Make we try the pay tax. As for me, once I get to my shop, I will head straight to the tax office to clear myself so that our state go better. Because better soup na money kill am o.
This message is from Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS.
My name is Mocha Chinaza Anieto.